Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Buster Show podcast. We have a very special episode today, and that is because Johnnyshipes is in the house. If you're watching the video, you can see the plaques behind him, and he has all those plaques because he is the founder of Cinematic Music Group and is business partners on a ton of different ventures, including the donut business, the clothing business. We have a lot to talk about today, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Yep. Shameless plugs in the background, some plaques in the background. Uh, but yes, I'm very happy to be here and chop it up with you about the many different things we both have going on. Congrats on the bagel.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, just a few episodes before this, the founder was on, Adam Goldberg. And we were just talking about this before, but the bagel business, the dough snack business, I mean, all of those have been dominated by, for donuts, I can only name two companies, Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts. Whereas I feel like when I was a kid growing up, and I'm only 21 now, but even like 15 years ago,
You're only 21?
Yeah, I'm 20, just turned 21. But there were local donut shops, and that just isn't a thing anymore. What made you want to dive into the donut business?
Donut business. I wasn't per se like looking for the donut business, like I had just it was during COVID. So I wasn't in the office as much for music, you know what I mean, at the label. I was still working, 24/7 on the label, but I was in my mind just kind of like, what else could I be doing that I would enjoy right now? It's kind of boring downtime, and food had given me like kind of it just came out of left field because my friend Virginia, she had hit me one day and she was like, would you do this Vice Munchies episode? And I did it, and it went really well. And then I did a bunch of stuff for them, and that kind of like showed me that I had this interest in food that I always knew I had, right? But like didn't really know what to do with it or where to put it. So my brother Will, like literally my blood brother, he was the lawyer for Grindstone Donuts, and he hit me and was like, yo, this donut shop in the Hamptons might be looking for some strategic partners or possibly an investor. So I went over there, tried the donuts. I'm a munchies king. I'm high fairly often. So I went over there, tried them. I was like, what in the fuck? These are fire. Shout out to my partner Kyle over there. He's a beast. And basically, we sat down, we talked. I said, look, I think there's a lot I can help to do to take this great product you have and, really build it into a company, kind of like what you were saying, Krispy Kreme, or not that that's our vision, but like, our goal is to really take it and expand it across the country. We have a few key products that we're developing right now that we think will really hit the market hard and, just kind of create our brand niche in the space, So that's the long story of how it kind of all came together. It was more of just like a good opportunity at the right time. And, I like donuts. So if it's, the brand, I don't do anything that doesn't like fit my brand or is true to my brand. So yeah, that's why, I liked it.
I think there are very few things too that everybody likes, right? Especially when it comes to food. Like even with candy, right? Everybody has like a specific candy that they like. But I love the idea of a class of food that it's really hard to find somebody that, like, health aside, says they don't like a donut. And that's how I felt about the bagels too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big bagels guy, so I actually might be going into the bagel business one of these days, or with you. But no,
Yeah,
I
man,
agree with
I'll
you.
set it
You
up.
got to have passion for it. Got to be, yeah. I fully agree with what you're saying there.
So off of that, you said that, the opportunity just came to you. Is that sort of your investing outlook, that you like for deals to come to you, or are there specific industries, projects that then you want to start?
Um, it's a good question. So say it one more time. Let me digest it.
Do you prefer that deals are inbound as opposed to you picking an industry or a sector that you believe in and then going after that?
Nah, it's a combo of both, like inbound deals that make sense, I'll do. And then if I see something that, I'm very passionate about, I'll go try to chase after that until I can, uh, create something cool in that space, like the comedy stuff. I've always wanted to do comedy, but until I got lucky enough to meet Drewski, that wasn't something that was going to happen for me at that particular time in my life, just because I'm funny, but I'm not funny like him. So like, in order for me to enter that space, I need a comic genius, AKA him. And now, now
Good.
I'm very excited about the film and television stuff we're working on. But to that point, it's like, I wanted that, that's something I wanted, but I had to wait on the timing side of it, versus the
100%.
donut shop, it came to me.
Definitely. And to the point of Drewski, I
But I
remember,
will say, sorry,
yeah,
I will say that my best ideas just kind of come to me, meaning like the Smokers Club, we weren't sitting around being like, yo, let's start a cannabis brand. We were just sitting around and we were like, oh, let's do a show. We should call it the Smokers Club, and then like, so that's kind of how it works with me.
so let's talk about the Smokers Club. So that idea came to you that way. Also, by the way, I'm just now realizing that you have the executive producer Larry David hat. Is that a curb hat or what is that?
This is a curb hat, executive produced by Larry David, because my life is a fucking joke. So I feel like, he's probably executive produced it. Nah, my homie Ev got me this hat. It's just a classic. You watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
It's one of the greatest shows of all time.
All time. Shout out Larry David, man. My life feels oftentimes like yours, just like the hip hop version.
I love that. So for the Smokers Club, what is the goal there?
Um, well, the goal for Smokers Club is it's vast. It's a takeover of some sorts, meaning like, we want everything that we feel we deserve. We come from that culture and that industry from way back early on in the days of even just smoking, so as a user, uh, and even as a hustler grinding early on, it would only be right for us to enter the cannabis space, whether it's selling weed actually in the legal markets or more selling you the lifestyle and the brand. So we want in on all of it because we've lived it all. And again, we do things now. I'm talking because Smokers Club is a bunch of owners, me and others. But so I'm saying we because it's kind of more of like a brotherhood there. But basically, we believe, and I believe that we all facets of cannabis that makes sense for us, we plan on being in. So the comedy side of things with smoking and joking, all underneath the Smokers Club umbrella, but you have smoking and joking, which is whether it's live comedy shows or a comedy movie that I might be working on that's a stoner like movie, would be presented by the Smokers Club right under that umbrella. You have the festival and live side of things, which is tours and fests. We put on, we're going on into our 12th year next year. We've done 7 years of touring, then the last 3 of festivals, and then COVID hit. Next year, we'll have our fest back up and running. So you have your live entertainment side, your comedy side. You have the cannabis side of things, as a third piece of it. We're in California legal, side of the market, and looking into exploring some other sides, obviously waiting for it to go legal in New York fully. And then we have like what is the Smokers Club, which is basically the membership side of things, which goes along with the clothing line, and kind of just we have like one piece of the clothing line is called the members line, where like the back of every hoodie, I actually think this one actually has it on. Another shameless plug, but that says member,
Hey,
right?
there we go. He's a
There we
member.
go. Feel me? So that side of the clothing line really took a life of its own, and from that we really said to ourselves, what do you get for being a member of the club? Like, it's one thing to support us, which we appreciate, and buy our clothing, but we need to give back to that member. You know what I mean? We need to give back to them. So
You're
we're really
providing real
flushing.
utility. That's very NFT-esque of you.
Oh, we'll get into NFTs next. Uh, but basically, it is about the community and giving back to them as well. So we're flushing out the member side of things now. We just opened up the Smokers Club shop in New York City 2 days ago. We launched it with the OGZ, pop up. Next week is Burner's listening party here. We launched it with a food truck called Flo's Joint. It's like extremely good chicken, like jerk chicken and buffalo chicken sandwiches,
Oh,
real
that's
good.
great.
So, we have all that going on over there. So the club membership aspect is something that we're really focused on right now. And that's basically what the Smokers Club is. It's premier lifestyle, cannabis driven, brand,
So bring
Um,
all the passions together. I love it.
Correct. And to your point on the NFT, we're launching an NFT in December that's going to go crazy. We have like all our, we're very deep in the in the whole culture of cannabis and just like streetwear and stuff just from being around forever and being in the mix. So we've like for the utilities and the things we're giving back to the community, it's everything from like, something with Nikki Diamond to something from Anwar. You have something for Burner. I don't want to give away what these things are. You're going to get something from me, Smoke Dizza, all different Dr. Dabber, all these different brands, and we've created a way that if you own an NFT of ours, which are going to be called members. So each I could talk a little about it. Basically, they're these different nugs, right? I'll show you one of them. Hold on. This is a real sneak peek right here. When does this air? Because I don't want to blow my cover too early.
When is too early? You tell me that.
Mid December is when it comes out. So like I wouldn't want this to come out to like December, like the first or second week of December.
Okay, that can be done.
All right. So like basically we have like these nugs, right?
Oh,
So
sick.
like that's like me and my daughter, right? And then you have a different background, so they're generative,
Nice.
right? So like that's my version of it. Hold on, let me show you another one. This is Burner.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then you have like your random ones, because they're going to be all different. Oh, here's Nikki. Let me show you Nikki Diamond real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's all,
And they're nugs with like all these different backgrounds.
yeah, it's all going to come down to the utility, and that's where, the winners are
Yeah,
are separated.
and what you get for them. So basically, we've created a really cool give back program, where at the very least, if you become a member, you get 10% off all of, Smokers Club store, anything we drop, you'll be getting emails for early drops and things like that, which is important because I want to give back to the fans that have really helped us, or support us. So that stuff along with like the festival next year, if you're a member, you'll be able to have like a certain band if you come to the festivals or the tours. And if it tours in your city, you'll get a backstage pass for a cooler experience. Just like really good shit, tangible stuff. Like instead of some of these people that are selling NFTs,
There's just nothing. It's nothing.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
fear.
Right.
They
So
call them rug pulls. Yep.
yeah.
So I love that you're going that route. I think it's really smart. Now,
Thanks.
you mentioned the comedy aspect and you mentioned Drewski earlier. I remember
Yeah.
when I first met him when we were filming season 1 of the Crew League, I told people after, I was like, this is the funniest person that I've ever like spent a day with in my life. And then obviously since then, I mean, that was just a year ago, but obviously he's grown into an even bigger star by a multitude of like 5 to 25x in the last year. And that was obvious to anybody that knew him before. But you obviously founded a label. He founded a label. What would your best advice be to Drewski in building out that side of the business?
The could have been record side.
Been records.
I would tell Drewski, man, take it all. Nah. And everything. Nah. Drewski is a visionary businessman. He really is. He, as funny and as a joke as Could Have Been is, he's really going to have a record label called Could Have Been. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
he has to. It's
You know,
too
uh,
far out now.
yeah. So, and we have a show coming out, a real Could Have Been show coming out next year. So that's going to be really funny as well.
Is it going
But
to be like talent show related?
I can't really speak on it, but you can imagine what it might be. You're close, you're not cold.
Got it.
Uh, but basically, Drew's very smart, and he's really focused on building his empire, and one piece of it's going to be Could Have Been. So we talk a lot about his record label and how to build it. And I guess if I had one piece of advice, just because I could joke around, but he is running it like a serious company. So I would tell him, make sure you keep really good staff and people around you, because that's how I built my whole company, was with like a whole team of people. That probably do a better job than I do at most things in the music industry. So I know what my strengths are, and they're valuable strengths, but you got to keep people with all the strengths around you. So he knows that, though. He's building his team and stuff.
It's great advice. Now, on a serious note, if you were to tell your younger self, give like, let's say, a 22-year-old yourself a piece of advice on trying to do whatever you were trying to do at that time, would it be the same, or how would that differ?
uh, I feel like everything happens for a reason. I don't really regret anything that I didn't do or did, like even some stuff recently that I could look at and say to myself, oh, I shouldn't have done this or that, or that. It's a learning experience. And I always tell every artist, right? You get what you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be mad if you're in a deal that you don't like. And I'm not saying this applies to me. I'm just talking outwardly facing. Like in my career, I've done deals that I didn't necessarily love, uh, you know, 2 or 3 years later. But, I got what I deserved, AKA negotiated, because it's only on me and my lawyer, right? So I would say, like, all my learning experiences, all the learning curves are all good, because they taught me everything I know today, that I now can, like, not make the same mistake, or like teach one of my little like homies that I might be mentoring, or an artist, give them good advice. So I don't really regret anything, or like would tell myself to do anything different. Maybe I would say, like, but
Bitcoin.
everybody hears this and
I said Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, right? Yeah. No, everybody hears this, and I tell all my artists, like, yo, bro, when you get that first check, save your money. Save that money. Da 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 da. I would like probably tell my younger self to have started saving money earlier. And not that I have any money issues whatsoever, but I ran through millions of dollars the first probably 3 years of like my successful run,
Yeah.
early on through whatever. And like I could have taken those few million and, done this or that with it that would have led to this or that potentially, you know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
everything else, I feel like, I would have done the same. But I always do say to myself, like, damn, those first couple of years I burned through a lot of bread, which is all good, but you know,
No, it's all part of the game, but it's true. Financial literacy, underrated and always will be.
yeah, super. And like, I'm trying now, more recently than ever, because I'll give an artist $200,000-300,000 and like not really have another convo with them about it. I'll urge them to get a money manager or something like that, or, but like, you don't even need a money manager with that small amount of money. Like, that is small in the scheme of things, right? But for somebody, their first check, it's big, and you could take that, you could go buy a crib with it, you could go do this with it. They don't realize, just like I didn't realize when I was a kid, half of that goes to the fucking government for taxes.
Yep.
So yeah, financial literacy is something I really do want to teach in the next year to basically, I have to get the program in place, but I'm doing that. I want to give health care to all the artists and obviously employees, things like that. I'm trying to do the best I can for the people that I'm in business with. I think all the labels should be doing that.
Of course. No,
Artists have
yeah. I think,
artists have hard.
yeah, it should be on like schools too. And public education also. Like the fact that that's not taught in every school at every level is kind of insane. It's almost like setting people up to fail.
Yep.
That's how it is sometimes. Um, I wanted to ask you, when discovering artists, what are the key indicators that you're always looking for? Is it like is it a determination to like perfecting a craft? Is it like their swag? Is it just the sound of the music? What are like those KPIs, if you will, that you're like in your head, you're just thinking about, or is it just the feel of it?
No, it's all that, and it's actually very hard in COVID because you don't get to meet somebody in person. You know what I mean? Which has cost me some money. I'm not gonna lie. You know, sometimes you sometimes you find a star, sometimes you don't. But it's easier when you can meet them and be in the mix with them and see them, you know, perform and stuff like that. So there were a few artists during COVID that I took a chance on that didn't really live up to my expectations. But to that's a sidebar. I don't know why I just got into that rant. But anyway, you know why? Because I'm in the office and I'm looking at a specific artist that's like, I'm
He who shall not be named.
definitely not. So anyway, um, I look for like the whole package. Like, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it. The music, it starts with the music for me. It has to be incredible music. I don't want to sign anything average. I don't want to sign anything that sounds like anything else. So it has to be incredible. Then I ask myself, is this guy or girl a superstar? Are guys or girls going to want to date them? Are guys or girls going to want to be like them? You know what I mean? Depending on, you know, their sex. So, you know, that's a serious question as well. You know, you're not going to go sign an artist that nobody's going to want to be like, and no, you know, guy or girl is going to want to be with. So that part of it is important. And then just kicking it with them, making sure they have a real vision, you know, and that they're really a star and get it and where they want to go. And you combine all that, and usually usually you find yourself a star as long as all those things line up.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Now, one of the last things I wanted to talk about, it says you are, here, let me go back to it. You're a partner in a clothing brand. How do you
Yeah.
felt USA, if I'm not mistaken? How did
Yeah.
you
Felt.
how did you get involved there, and what was the decision?
Um, so it started early on at Cinematic. Basically, one of the interns at Cinematic, his name was Costa. Shout out Costa. He's a creative genius. He started the brand Felt. He was like wearing this like hat and T-shirt around the office all the time, and then like two or three more of the young kids in the office would start wearing the shit. And you know, I'm like, shit is pretty fly. I was like, yo, what is Felt? And they're like, oh, it's this fucking brand that Costa started. So I was like, oh, all right. So I pulled Costa aside. My homie Nate Fried Vegetables, who's another talented dude, he had actually brought Costa in on his internship. That I sat with both of them, and I said to Costa, I was like, "Yo, bro, this brand is fire. I'll invest in it. I'll help, you know, get it to the next level." And that's what we did. You know, we basically built the brand, you know, with his vision and design skills, and got it to where it's at today, which you know is now you know, in its next rendition of you know, growth, you know, getting into toys and plushies and all types of other cool stuff that you can see on their Instagram or
Amazing.
website.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's if you're able to create a good product, the people will come. You know, everybody always says, like, for a lot of these industries, people even said it to me about bagels, crazy enough. They're just like, the market is oversaturated. And honestly, I don't think that's ever true in any industry. I remember like when I started the basketball media company Hoops Nation, and when I started that on Instagram, people told me that it was oversaturated in
Right.
2017,
If you
right?
build something dope and it's cool, there's no such thing as oversaturation because you'll out win or play the other brands that are in that space.
Exactly. The only people
Music
who
is
are going to tell
oversaturated.
you, right? The only people who are going to tell you that it's oversaturated are the people who don't want you to continue because it's against their own good, from what I've found.
I
And
agree with that.
I bet that's true in music too, but
I mean, it's true in everything. You know, nobody wants to see you win, honestly. You know,
it's a pretty crazy thought though, because, you know, you don't want to believe that, but You know, it is the truth.
It really is, man.
So what's your best advice for a young entrepreneur now?
Um, Never give up in your dream. Like never give up on your dream. You know, if that's what you really want to do, you can set out and do it if you just push yourself hard enough and outwork everybody that's also chasing that same dream. And you can accomplish that slowly but surely. You're not going to see it overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. You got to put time, money, energy. You got to go broke for it. You might have to go broke a few times for it, you know, until you get to really where you're going, because nobody's going to hand you anything. So, you know, stick with your vision, you know, try to be as focused on it as possible. You know what I mean? You really gotta work 24/7 on it. And then when something lucky happens, like, you know, me finding an artist is a combination of luck and my preparation. You know, like you need to be able to jump on that luck of whatever ball might have fallen into your lap and say, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna now run with this and get it to the next level," which was kind of like what happened. You know, me finding Sean Kingston was luck to a degree. And then from there, finding Nipsey was luck, but I knew what to do with it because, you know, one thing led to the next. And, you know, you got to be prepared. You know, it's not going to just happen overnight.
Makes sense. It's
That's
great
my
advice.
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That is great. There we go. It looked like a lightsaber when you did it there. Um, doesn't it? No, I think that's great advice. And I like that you mentioned outwork everybody in that specific niche, because obviously people usually say just outwork everybody, but that's frankly not true. You don't need to outwork the guy trying to make the NBA if you're trying to be a big artist.
No, correct.
So in the spirit of valuing your time, I know we scheduled 30 minutes, so thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
This was an absolute blast.
of course. I really appreciate you having me on the show, and congrats on being so young and following your dream and chasing it. And I'm sure I'll see you somewhere on the big screen or so wherever it is your goal is to be, you know, soon.
I appreciate it. 100%. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Later, Buster.
Bust the bus.